All right, we are live. UFC 256 tailgate. Got my man Drake Riggs here. Got some beer. Little Omission IPA. Drake, what are you drinking?
I got myself some Natty Light strawberry lemonade. So I'm
Natty
going to
Light.
throw back to the summer days. This was a good
Oh,
drink
yeah.
for that.
Oh, yeah.
So
No, and we'll go ahead and just hit the We Are Live on that retweet. But yeah, man, it's the tailgate party.
no food. I'm not
No.
very hungry.
So I made some food, which was this queso with guacamole in it.
Oh, perfect.
And it was queso guacamole, and it was amazing. I was gonna have some, eat it on air, and I ate the whole thing because I am a
Like, it was
glutton.
too good. I had to have
Yes,
it
too good.
right now.
I ate the whole thing. But thank you for joining us. This is just going to be a Q&A mini preview prediction show, so feel free to hit us up. It's relaxed. If you're drinking anything, let us know. If you're not a drinker, that's okay too. Everyone is welcome.
No
But we're
judgment
just
here.
Yeah, no judgment at all. And so we're going to be just hanging out, having a couple brews, talking about the fights. So first up, Drake, and any fight in particular that just stands out, you just want to jump right into.
Well, if we're gonna do no order, just jumping right in. Honestly, the fight I'm most excited for, I'm very biased probably towards this one, but Jandiroba and Dern, that's the fight I'm most excited for. So
Ooh.
that's the one I can't wait for. So
That one should be good. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Jandiroba.
oh yeah,
If you're watching, drop a comment. Who do you got? Because I want to know. Because I think everyone's going, big Mackenzie Dern. That's just how it is. I don't know, man. Jandiroba is very, very good. And she struggled. Dern struggled against Yoder. People forget that.
Yeah.
That was a very close fight. I think Jandiroba is just a better version of Yoder, honestly. So,
well, yeah, by a decent margin, I would say.
by a decent margin. Yes. So,
no,
yeah.
no offense to Yoder, that's just how good Jandiroba
offense
is.
to Yoder, but yeah, no, that's true. For me, I mean, co-main all day. Tony
Easy one,
Ferguson, yeah, versus Joe Bronx. This should be a really good fight. Man, it's one of those things where how much damage did Ferguson take? Is he gonna end up looking like regular Tony Ferguson? Because if so, I think he takes this. If he looks a little bit off, because he took a lot of damage from Gaethje. I mean, he just ate shots all day. I think that opens up the door for Joe Bronx.
I mean, the thing I've seen, at least Dana keeps mentioning the weight cut thing, how Tony did too, like unnecessarily for the last fight. So I mean, just what do you think about that? Because I mean, yeah,
I mean,
you could argue it, but at the same time, like, it's still Tony. Tony's a freak, so I don't know if I weigh that very much, but he keeps mentioning it.
yeah, I mean, Tony is a freak, and that's not surprising. He did that weight cut, right? This is Tony Ferguson. This dude runs up mountains at 5 a.m. He kicks steel poles to train his shins. I mean, when you're thinking about it, I'm not surprised, but it's hard because I think he slowed down a little bit, but I also think Gaethje just made adjustments and ended up coming through and really piecing him up there. So I think it affected him a little bit, but I don't think it affected him that much myself. But I'm picking Tony all day. I don't know. Who do you got in this fight?
Man, well, just to talk about the Gaethje fight a little bit, it's like yeah, Tony was clearly losing, I think, pretty much the whole fight. I mean, I think you could argue he won the second round just because of the very end of it, when he knocked Gaethje down. Had him very, very hurt with that uppercut and then just kind of ran out of time there. It's not like he wasn't having success, right? So he was still having some moments. It was a fun fight, but Gaethje was clearly in control the whole time. As for this fight, though, man, dude, Bronx is just on such a roll, dude. I love it. I love this evolution that, we've seen from him, and his striking has... I don't want to say it's reached the same level as his grappling, because his grappling is very good, but man, it is elevated to a level to where I think he can definitely hang with Tony in the striking. He's just as diverse, just as dangerous as we've seen lately, but like, it just comes down to if Tony can continue that classic volume and pressure and endless cardio, aggression that he's used to putting on people. Because we've seen Oliveira kind of have trouble with fighters like that in the past, and somebody like Tony is a very unique guy to do that. And then also we've seen Dubronk's, as good as a submission artist that he is, he's been submitted before too. Like Anthony Pettis submitted him, which is very weird to think about in hindsight. But like if he can do it, somebody like Tony can absolutely catch him, especially in like a scramble or whatnot. So it's crazy.
Yeah, no, if this goes to the ground, this should be a bonkers, submission after submission attempt. I'm kind of hoping it goes to the ground myself.
I know between this and Dern and Jandiroba, the submission possibilities
are endless. Endless. And if you're just joining us again, welcome to the UFC 256 Tailgate Preview Show. Again, I'm drinking Omission IPA, a little bit hipster. Austin, Texas, shout out there. Drake, why don't you let everybody know what you're drinking, because I think it's important.
Got my Natty Light strawberry lemonade here.
Natty Light strawberry lemonade. Amazing. Yes. I love it. I love it.
For Natter days.
For Natter days, man. And so we've got both of us kind of going with Tony, right? You didn't make an outright pick there, but I'm assuming.
It's this one, that one's so tough, man. The momentum for me is so big for Oliveira and just how good he's looked. I give him a tiny edge. I really do, man. It's tough. Okay. It's tough just because, like, Tony's Tony, and I don't think that, there's been the argument that, he's old now and maybe he's washed from this Gaethje fight. Yeah, I don't buy that necessarily. I just think that Oliveira has reached that point where he can hang with these guys and beat them. So, yeah, I'm going to take Oliveira, but I don't know about a finish. From him. I think this should be an awesome, crazy war for as long as it lasts.
You think Oliveira's going to win by decision? Is that what you're telling me, Drake?
Yeah, that's what I'll go with, to give you an exact prediction, to get a little crazy.
Oliveira by decision. If you're watching this, Drake Riggs just predicted that Charles Oliveira is going to win by decision against Tony Ferguson. Someone please in the chat straighten my man out. This is not an acceptable prediction by any means. Oliveira by decision. Are you kidding me? Wow, okay, that's a better prediction than Oliveira by decision, in my opinion. Let us know what you think.
Are for that.
Oh man, they gotta be nuts. Let us know who you think is gonna win Ferguson versus Oliveira, because I've got Tony, he's got Oliveira slightly leading edge. I don't think Oliveira's fought the best of competition on this streak, right? Like, he beat Kevin Lee, but got a couple other guys in there. But either way, should be a great scrap. Let's go down. Let's look at some other fights. Any others? We've talked about the scrambles. Any stand-up battles that you are excited about in this one?
Fiziev and Moicano. That's a pretty easy pick there, right? Man. And Dos Anjos and Gane should be on the feet for the most part, right? So.
I would agree. I'm going to call this right now. I've got Dos Santos by, I don't want to say knockout, but I think decision. I think JDS gets it done. A lot of people calling Gane a knockout artist are going to finish him. Dude, go watch that Tanner Boser fight. I think JDS is a live dog. Plus 300. I can't legally tell you to go bet on things, but I can unofficially say that I love betting on plus 300 live dogs that I think for sure will win this. So that's my opinion.
He's that big a one, then yeah. That's kind of crazy. This is Junior we're talking about.
Yeah, this is a dude that knocked out Derek Lewis, 2 or 3 fights ago? People are crazy to tell me that Gane is just going to run in there. And I am high on Gane as a prospect. I really am. I think he's going to end up being a huge force in the heavyweight division. But to tell me that he's a negative 400 favorite against JDS when JDS was winning there we go. G-board FPV, JDS first round KO. I like that. I do. I think that's more likely than Gane getting any sort of finish or even decision.
Gane hasn't fought in a while, too.
No,
it's been a hot minute.
It's been, it's been a bit. So I like JDS all day in this fight, especially for plus 300. That's nuts. That's just bonkers to me. I don't.
I think JDS is definitely a good pick, and I did an appearance. Shout out to Fightful yesterday. I was on the show with Shaq, and a good question I thought he asked was, between these 3 fights here, between the co-main event, Holland and Souza, and then Junior and Gane. Like they all have changing of the guard potential, right? Where it's kind of these older established names, even though I would say that, Oliveira has been around for a lot longer than it feels like he has because he's pretty much a new guy at this point. But, the shifting of rankings sort of. And so Shaq's question was like, who has the best potential to hang on to their spot among these guys who've like stayed in the top 10 for these last 10 years? So Junior, Jacare, and Tony, right? And I was very close to going with JDS, but then I was like, heavyweight, and I think that Jacare, he's not the best matchup for Holland, so I went with Jacare personally.
I am all day about Jacare. Just gator it. Go ahead and get the gator going. I am all about Jacare all day on that. But I will say, in terms of staying around the longest, I think it's JDS simply because of heavyweight, right? Like, look at Arlovsky. Arlovsky's still out here fighting, getting wins, getting paid. Shout out to Arlovsky for getting ridiculous money for his fights. I mean, he's still doing that. I think JDS is nowhere near shot. Like, I think he's still knocking out contenders.
Look at who he's fighting too.
Yeah, and he was winning the Rosenstruck fight, in my opinion, until he got clipped, right?
Yeah,
his chin's gone. If he gets hit, that's it. But he's not, like, shot to a point where it's like, oh, man, you got to go. Well, like, Andre Arlovsky is more shot than JDS. So, to me, when people are talking about cuts and all this stuff, too, because the roster cuts and all that, I think they're much more likely to cut Arlovsky, especially just because Arlovsky's getting paid six figures.
Yeah.
Like, every fight.
He's making bank, dude.
He's making bank. So, but I love Jacare. I don't know. This is a big test for him, though. If he can't do this, I think this might be time for him to hang it up. And I hate saying that because I love Jacare.
But that's the same with Junior, though. That's the same with Junior, right? Like, if he can't get past Gane, because you look at who he's fighting, right? Like, the Blades fight, the Rosenstreak, all these guys who are totally top teners. This is a significant step down for him in terms of the guys he's usually fighting. So if he gets put away, especially if he gets finished by Gane, if he loses, then it's like, it depends on the fashion of this decision, if it's close, whatnot. But if he gets finished, then that's really telling. So,
yeah, I think I would say if Gane pulls out a crazy, like, slick submission out of nowhere, I think maybe JDS gets a little bit leeway there because people are super high on Gane, right? The UFC is too. So we'll see where that is. Jackson Lichteg asking, co-main has to be fight of the night, right, boys? On paper, to me, it's definitely co-main or it's Moicano versus Fiziev because that could turn into an absolute crazy fireworks fight. But those are my two picks. What do you got, Drake?
I mean, I think that the main event has potential to be that. Like, it just depends on how much of a chance you're giving Moreno, right? Because if he can last for 2 rounds at least, they should be pretty crazy, right? It just depends on if Figueiredo can put him away relatively early, because we forget how crazy of a good fighter and like fun fighter that Moreno is. Like, just look at the last fight was only a round and he was winning pretty much most of it, but it was still really fun. And credit to, was it Royval as well? Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think there's potential for the flyweights, man. We are always sleeping on them. I mean, maybe not most of us who are paying attention, but the flyweight division, man, always delivering, always delivering.
And I will say this, Moreno has never been finished. All of his losses are unanimous decisions. So I think this probably goes at least past round 1, probably round 2. And if that's the case, I think it could be a bonkers fight. So I am with you there. I think there is some underrated potential of how good that fight could be. But over Ferguson,
no, it's tough to go over that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or Fiziev, man, the stuff he was doing against Dikasi.
Oh,
come
so
on.
fun.
That was, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, I'm picking co-main. If I had to choose between those 3, I'm picking co-main. But I think all 3 of them definitely have potential. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even mentioned Cub Swanson is fighting, though, too. That's a guy who's always capable of being in a fight of the night. So,
dude, so looking through Cub Swanson's stats, he's landed in pretty much, I think it's 4 out of his last 5. He's landed over 115 significant strikes in each one of those fights.
Wow.
Dude is slept on. Even when he's lost, the Shane Burgo split decision landed like 129 significant strikes. That fight could end up being insane. Especially Pineda looks so good against Herbert Burns. I think that's definitely a fight people are sleeping on.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not really getting talked about very much, and probably just because he's on a little bit of a slide here. Let's see, he got the record up. No, I mean, the Kron Gracie fight feels like that was forever ago. I guess it was over a year ago, and that's because he tore his ACL. That's right. So, but before that, he was on the 4-fight losing streak. So people have just kind of forgotten about Cub in general, I think, because of all his time. But yeah, that Kron Gracie fight was awesome. So I mean, yeah. You never sleep on a Cub Swanson fight.
Yeah, never sleep on a Cub Swanson fight. And G-Board FPV, again, big weight cut to make twice a month for Figueiredo. Ooh, that is a very good point to bring up. I mean, he's changed his nutritionist. He's got a new team, right? He was first on the scale in his last title fight. Made weight this time, and we know he's had weight issues. He says he weighs 143 on fight night, which is also ridiculous.
Guy is shredded.
But yeah, but you got Data talking about Tony making those 2 cuts and how that affected him. Do we think that this affects Figueiredo and Moreno gets the upset? Because this is not an easy fight for a dude that has to cut weight twice in 21 days.
Well, I would say, yeah, maybe, but Moreno's also making the same exact cut. Oh, nobody's talking about that, all right? So everyone's like, yes, props to Figueiredo for doing this turnaround too, which, yes, but also Moreno fought on the same fucking card, Like, he's all doing the same exact thing. He's just not the champion.
It's so, true, but does he weigh 143 on fight night? I don't know about that. That's the...
Fair enough.
I'll never forget that Figueiredo's, again, I'm just throwing stats all day. Just call me Stats Guy.
Stat Pat.
Stat Pat. Oh, man, that's going to stick. That's for sure going to stick. His one loss, Figueiredo's one loss came against Formiga, where he cut 37 pounds in a week, is what he said. Never forget that. He was at 160 something, which was just bonkers. I don't know. And Jackson Lichtag, sorry for the back-to-back, but it would be better for flyweight division for Moreno to win, or we pass the time where we are scared the division will go away if the competition is there. That's a great question, too. Figueiredo's made enough of a splash. It's keeping the division alive. If Moreno wins and he's not, getting as many finishes, right? Because Moreno does do a lot of decisions. Could that, cause the division to go away? I think that's tough for me to say, man. That's a great question. I'm going to say not immediately. If you get a lot of boring decisions, let's say Moreno wins and then gets another couple of decisions, especially with them cutting fighters, I could see it kind of leaning to going away because they were already not high on the flyweight division. But I don't know. I mean, Drake, what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm torn.
I don't know. I think we're probably past the point of being afraid for the flyweight division, just because we've had all this time to really see more than just the guys at the very top, like the Benavidez's, the Figueiredos, and obviously these guys who are competing for the title and everything, show their worth in the time since this was a big speculation topic. And I think that the UFC is willing to keep them around now, especially even though this was kind of backed into a corner situation where they're putting Figueiredo in this spot here tonight, but at the same time, it's still showing trust by doing it at all, by going, okay, 2 back-to-back flyweight title fight pay-per-views. Who would have thought, considered everything we know in the past, right? So, and then if Moreno pulls it off, I don't know if I wouldn't agree with like an instant rematch after that, but like I think that just further shows that okay, this division is very good. Let's keep it. In my opinion, that's how it should be looked at. Maybe not from a business standpoint, but also Moreno, Mexican market. I don't know.
But it's a good point. But I will say, you said the magic words, business standpoint, man.
Yeah.
It's not about merit, man. You could be the best damn fighter in the whole universe. If you're not bringing in money, UFC doesn't give a shit. And yes, I'm cursing. It's not suitable for work stream. You should be working. Yeah, we're tailgating. We're tailgating here. We got an IPA. We got a strawberry flavored Natty Light. Someone in the comments, please save me and tell Drake Riggs that this is just a real party foul. You're drinking a strawberry.
I also
Natty
have
Light.
a Coors Light. Okay.
Okay, that's better. A Coors Light is far better than a strawberry Natty Light. I mean, even a regular Natty Light, man. You're breaking my heart.
These are my only options I have, I think.
Man, I tell you.
Unless I made something harder, but
Which you can. It's a
mixed
tailgate.
drinks at a tailgate, sure.
Mixed drinks at a tailgate. I've been there. You need a flask, but we've been there. It's virtual,
there you
so there you go. And if you're just joining us again, thanks for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, wherever you are. We appreciate it. We really do. Keep the comments coming. Any questions you have, hit us up. We will answer it. No problem. Doesn't matter what it is. Anything's open. It's a tailgate. We're having fun. Prelims. Any prelims sticking out to you, Mr. Riggs?
So, I mean, yes, there are some here.
Sorry, I just need to, show everybody my awesome bottle opener. Luchador. Oh, Magic Hat number 9. Magic, you know what I'm saying?
You got those fancy beers.
I know. Who would have thought the man in the Macho Man shirt has the fancy beers?
I know, we should be like
the man
trading
with that
drinks.
mustache, yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
Typically, if we're going to, judge based on the looks here. But, yeah, I mean, okay, the first fight, honestly, of the night is kind of interesting to me because Chase Hooper, Peter Barrett, just because the Chase Hooper experiment so far, guy, we knew he was super green getting the contract, right? When he first got the contract, and then they throw him against Alex Caceres, that was after his first win, his very first win.
Yeah, against Tamer.
Which, that one was also a little
Tamer.
bit, but still a little bit.
One's bad, one's good.
Yeah, for Hooper's experience, that was still a little bit thrown to the wolves, I would say. And then we saw he didn't look that great in that fight. He survived the guillotine or whatever it was. He almost got choked out very quickly and just rallied just off of pure survivability, right? He didn't look that great. And then they go and put him against Caceres, who even more experienced than Tamer. And, Caceres isn't the best ever, but...
The bad Tamer rocked him. That right there tells me, and I like Chase Hooper a lot. I love what he's been doing on social media with the Ben Askren's my dad thing. I think his ground game is super slick. I love it, but he is very green. He is, again, another heavy favorite here that this is less so. And shout out to producer Jake for renaming me there. It's true. That's what I am. I'm Stat Pat. I think he's a little green, and this is less so a lock for me than JDS. If I had to bet on one underdog tonight, it's JDS all day. But I would also consider a bet on Barrett just because of how Hooper's looked. I mean, he's so young, he's so new. The Caceres fight was a beatdown, and that's not even considering the fact that the bad Tamer knocked him down. Mind you, the bad Tamer was already I'm not sure he should have been in the UFC still by the time he got that Chase Hooper fight. And he got a knockdown on him and almost pulled off the upset. I don't know, man.
And also, I mean, just to talk about Slippery Pete, which is a great nickname if we're talking about nicknames tonight, Stat Pat, Slippery Pete. Peter Barrett, dude, is fucking tough, man. You remember that head kick that he ate in his last fight? I think it was his last fight. I mean, I don't know how he didn't go out from that and then just got kind of beat up for the rest of that fight, but he's very tough. I don't think Chase Hooper will have to submit him if he wants to win this fight. It's just, I think that it's a similar case to these Mickey Galls or Sage Northcutts, maybe more Sage Northcutt, who they're brought into the UFC way too soon. He does, you can see the potential there and the marketability on this young guy who's really good, and you want him to grow fast and be a homegrown guy for you. But sometimes you got to remember the level that your promotion is at, right? These guys, even though they have potential, they're not quite there. Grow them up. It's a gamble on how quickly they'll progress outside of your promotion and then maybe get snatched up somewhere else. But for the sake of them, let them do that, because it's a detriment to them in the long term, because of course they're not going to say no matter if you're offering it to them. Of course you can't say no.
And you talk about the prime age for fighters. which so many analysts and even Dana White says is like 32, right? 31, 32. And we're talking about a kid that's 18, 19 coming in. I mean, that's 11 plus years. Like, I mean,
and he might not even make it to that age fighting at this point if you fuck him up early.
Yep, it's very true. And so we got another comment here. I love this one. Sam, I've never seen Sam Hughes fight. Tecia Torres is a massive favorite against her tonight, right or wrong. Ooh, I have seen Sam Hughes fight. I like her quite a bit. But I also think Tecia Torres is highly underrated, and coming in short notice against Tecia Torres is a giant ask. I think I go Tecia just because, you know, I can see Sam putting up a good fight, but I don't know. Ticia's only really lost to some of the best fighters in the division, right? Like, your thoughts on that? Do you think Sam has a chance here?
I mean, everybody has a chance.
Well, yes.
Has a little bit of a chance. But, yes, I think Sam Hughes is a phenomenal prospect. And, you know, it's great to see her in the UFC. It would have happened eventually, you know, if it wasn't going to be now. But, this is one of the locks of the night. I mean, Tecia Torres is generally always been a fighter who comes in on point, and then if she loses, it's not like she had a bad night or a bad game plan. It's just that her opponents were better than her, right? Like, she's always somebody who comes in tip-top, well-prepared. And, I mean, if we're going to go off of her last fight against Brianna Van Buren, where I counted her out, everybody thought that was going to be her last fight, and rightfully so, because BVB is a great fighter as well on the come-up. But Tecia really reinvigorated, you know, looked out there, rejuvenated, back against the wall, knew the spot that she was in, and was as aggressive as we'd ever seen her. And with that style that she already possesses, you know, very fast, very, you know, speedy, movement oriented, throws a lot of crazy kicks and, you know, attacks just in general. With that aggression added to it, dangerous Tecia. That's a dangerous Tecia. And if she can build off of that in this last fight, it's going to be a rough night for Sam Hughes. It's always hard to predict a Tecia finish, but she could get close to it. So I have trouble seeing it.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. And we got Chiefdoms 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 locks and 2 dogs. I love this question. 2 locks first is what we'll start with. Ooh, I mean, for me, I think it's Figueiredo, and I think it's Tecia. I think those are the 2 locks. And I'm going to, I mean, it's a tough weight cut, but for me personally, I still don't see, I don't see Moreno getting it done. I really don't. I think, you know, it'll be a good fight. I think it could be a great fight, but Figueiredo has been amazing, save that one weight cut mishap, which really messed him up, and he even mentioned it messed him up. I think he's got that locked in. And then, again, as you just mentioned, locks of the night for Torres. That's a done deal all day. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so, I mean, Torres, definitely. And, the rest of them are pretty hard. But, let's see, for the other lock. Figueiredo, I think that is a good one because, I think he's just looked so great recently. And I mean, not that Moreno has it or anything. It's just the fashion that Figueiredo has been, you know, winning and putting people away is just fucking gnarly, right? So, I mean, I don't want to pick the same one as you, but I might do it. I might do it, just to be blunt. I was leaning a little bit towards to maybe Peter Barrett, who we just talked about, but I feel like he hasn't been consistent enough either. So, despite all the greenness of Chase Hooper, just Pete hasn't been very consistent either. So, and for the 2 dogs, I think you could go ahead and put Peter Barrett up there for a possible live dog. For me, obviously it's JDS. I mean, I think that line is crazy at plus 300. Like, again, I can't officially tell you to go bet on it, but I can tell you I love betting on plus 300 underdogs that I think are going to win. So take that for what you put. And then the other dog I have personally is a man we already mentioned. I mean, I really like Cub Swanson. I think, you know, Pineda is good, but if you go back and watch his last fight, and this comes as somebody that picked up Pineda in my fantasy league, which is a whole nother conversation we won't get into. But Swanson
Swanson has looked very good, and Pineda got into some trouble in some places against Herbert Burns, ended up getting better at the scrambles, and then got the finish with that crucifix, but it wasn't like it was a beat down. I think Cub is, people are overlooking this. Him as a dog right now, it's hard for me not to want to put a little money down. Who are your two dogs?
So I was actually looking at the first 3 fights of the main card in particular, and I think that I like the junior as the dog slightly more than Jacare, just because I don't know. I feel like we've seen Jacare maybe slow a bit more.
Get old. Is that what you're
trying? Get a little bit older.
Get a little bit older.
Has. While Holland has looked very, very nice. And then my other one has to be Jandiroba. I'm pretty sure she's the underdog. I believe, like on the actual betting line. So
yeah, and I like that pick as well. I think Jandiroba as a underdog is a good pick, especially again as we mentioned, given Dern's problems against Yoder. I think Jandiroba as a dog is a good one.
Yeah,
and then we've got Big Boss, Tony going to come harder than before. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think he's got probably a chip on his shoulder after losing that fight to, finally get the title shot against Khabib, which has been, Tony versus Khabib, cursed fight as they come. If not the most cursed fight. You know what? No, I'm going to say the most cursed fight. The amount of times that was booked, it's been canceled.
Yeah.
For him to lose to Gaethje and basically get his title shot taken away from him, and especially some of the things he's been saying in the lead up to this, saying the media doesn't have his back, all this, I think he's got a massive chip on his shoulder. I expect him to come just barging out of the gates and be looking to just decimate Oliveira. Will he? I don't know. If Gaethje really took away some of his, confidence, then maybe not. But I would lean much more towards him trying to make a statement here. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, and that's why it's so exciting, right? Like it would be all exciting regardless of the situation, circumstances that both fighters are coming off of right now. But yeah, man, at least he should come out this way, right? You would think with all that's going into it. But yeah, I can't imagine that he won't, which makes it that much more, of an exciting fight, especially with Oliveira's, newfound life that he has. So yeah, it's hard to disagree with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he comes out. I think he's Tony. I can't imagine Tony to have his confidence shaken, especially given the Khabib retirement and him. Did you see that video of him live at the watch show or whatever, where he's screaming about "Give me Khabib" and all this stuff? Is
this recent?
Something else. Yeah, no, it happened at UFC 254 when he beat Gaethje. He was at a live watch party where he was doing some jiu-jitsu stuff in between, and then was just screaming like, give me a beef. It's like, I can't imagine his confidence is that shaken if he's doing that stuff.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, could be different when he gets to the ring, right? I mean, or the octagon rather, but I think, I don't think this is an Ngannou situation where he's going to be gun shy and going to be kind of timid. That doesn't.
No.
I can't imagine Tony is that dude. So those are my thoughts on that. Any other questions we have? I know we're about to start the early prelims, Chase Hooper versus Peter Barrett. And you know what? Let's go ahead and get a firm pick on that. I think for me, I'm going to go ahead and say Peter Barrett. I'm going to pick the dog here just because Hooper has looked impressive on the ground, but not impressive enough. He's been rocked in all 3 of his fights that I've seen. Contender Series, bad Tamer brother, and
which it's easier to say Tamer family tonight.
Well, it's easier to say Daniel or David. Like it's you just went ahead and pulled a Nogueira just with come on.
Right.
There's a reason they call the little dog a big dog. So I'm gonna say bad Tamer and good Tamer. So bad Tamer brother. I forget who he fought on the Contender Series, but he got rocked in that fight too. And Caceres. I'm gonna go ahead and give Barrett the nod here. Who do you have in the very first fight?
Yeah, I think Barrett probably by second round TKO. I think he'll beat him up on the ground, honestly.
Second round
I'm going
TKO.
there. Second or third, ground and pound. After hurting him on the feet.
I mean, yeah, I really want to know. Let's see what the odds are on that. Let me just pull those up real quick.
Let's get them as we get in
here. Barrett wins in round 2 plus 1,225. You heard it.
Oh, I mean, make some money.
Yeah. No.
No, I'm not. Don't go off my word.
Yeah. No. I mean, again, we can't officially tell you to bet. Legally, we are bound. We're not going to go ahead. We can give you a disclaimer, but unofficially.
Yeah.
Just think about it, Just think about it.
Throw it in very late here. You have literal minutes to do that.
Yeah, you have minutes to make this decision. But if you're going to make that decision, just think about it.
Yeah.
Just think about it. All right. And any other comments or questions? I know we're minutes away. Again, want to appreciate every single one of you watching this stream and coming out to do this. Appreciate the tailgate. We're going to keep doing this. For sure, I'm gonna have more snacks next time for sure. I'm sorry I ate the one snack that I made ahead of time. It was too good. I'm a little bit of a glutton, got a little bit of a gut. So
quarantine.
Quarantine, yeah, and the fact again that it's a tailgate. This happens all the time.
Exactly.
So again, follow us on Twitter. My name is All Day OJ on Twitter, even though I go by Stat Pat now. Yeah. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, Periscope, or Facebook, any of that stuff, really appreciate it. And any final comments? If not, we're going to sign off. But somebody, please, I'm begging any one of you to tell Drake that it's trash he's drinking a strawberry natty light. Somebody do that for me. You will be my favorite commenter for the rest of the year for sure. Yeah, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Or tell me I'm trash.
Exactly.
Tell me I'm trash for saying that somebody should
for not having one. For having all these filthy IPAs.
This isn't an IPA. This is a not quite pale ale is what they call it. It's about as hipster as you can come. So
who's the hipster
here? Yeah, I know, right? Who's the hipster? The one drinking. Make that distinction. Who's the hipster? The guy in the Macho Man shirt drinking IPAs, or the guy in the Courage the Cowardly Dog shirt with that mustache drinking natty lights? Yeah, the man bun. I don't know.
This is a very big debate now.
Yes, it's a huge debate. It looks like we've caused silence for everyone watching, though they don't want to get involved. I understand that. You don't want to get involved in something like this. Keep it. Oh, thank you, Texas Ranger. My man, Texas Ranger coming through. You are my favorite commenter for the rest of the year, and then at least because we're so close to the end of the year with these fights, I'm going to say at least through January too, Texas Ranger is my guy. I'm going to be shouting him out all the time because it is trash. It is trash you're drinking strawberry natty light, man. I'm sorry.
I do have my consolation.
There you go. And Big Boss. Oh, Big Boss's picks.
All of them.
Hooper, Hughes, Tucker. Oh, Tucker over Quarantillo. I don't know about that one. That's a little. Ooh, I like Swanson. I like Moicano. Like JDS. Souza, Ferguson. Don't know about Moreno. Mostly on the same page with Big Boss there.
Lots of dogs there, and left out Dern and Jandiroba too.
Yeah. No, that's make some money. Oh, all right. Yeah, that's fair. All right. G boy FTP, drink whatever you want. Yeah. You know what? That's fair.
Attaboy.
I'm not gonna negate that comment. But I will say that Texas Ranger is my favorite commenter, and that we see eye to eye on a lot of things about. Yeah,
this is definitely not my favorite. You can only have like 3 of them, and then I'm
Why
fine.
do you have that? I don't get it. Like, just drink regular Natty Light. Even that is better than that. I don't. That must taste like acid that you're drinking.
This is my floating drink when I'm going down the river during the summer. So this is leftover.
I go down float trips too, man. I don't drink strawberry Natty Light. All right.
I don't know.
Yeah, Big Boss, Nasty Natty. That's true. Yeah, that's what it is. That's true. It's a true statement.
Definitely not my preferred one. It's just what I had. Okay, guys, I'll prepare better next time.
Yeah, please do for all of us.
Yeah.
Again, all right, we're gonna call it here because we're about to turn on some fights. Again, thanks for joining the tailgate. We love you guys. Like, subscribe. We'll be back again next week, and definitely in January. I'm thinking so. Again, appreciate the views, appreciate everything. Enjoy the fights, my friends.